Hey, Bass, how are you? All right, so I wanted to bitch a little bit. And what gave me the impetus to bitch a little bit was um, I replied to a comment on a RT, I think it is. I think the RE first. No, I don't think so, Mr. JRC. John, you're not first. Bass beat you. Bob beat you. TJ beat you, and somebody. Let's see. Let me look at this thing. Ghost Rider FPV. Bloody, bloody Craig. How are you, brother? Good to see you. Okay, so I just want to get this off my chest, and I don't know. So, like at the end of June, I had a stroke. Many of you know that. Nothing has changed. I still can't work, whatever. Applied for Social Security. Technically, at 62 and a half years old, it would be considered early retirement. But I also applied for disability. And I know I can't work. I know what I know how to do. And I can't do it. My landlord said, "Hey man, can you come help me out with this and whatever?" And it exhausted me for like 2 hours work. My hands are numb, face is numb. It's weird. Hey, nameless drummer. So anyway, really, I thought I was going to die. I was prepared to die. I was ready to go. Not meet the grim reaper, as so many said. I just wanted to go to sleep and not wake up. That's the way it was. Hey, Allie, how are you, sweetie? But it didn't happen. My body didn't cooperate, I guess. So instead, I I don't know, 3 months later, 9/15 of this year, I applied for Social Security. Early retirement, I think at my retirement age, it's like $750 a month, which is not even enough to pay the rent. But also did a disability thing. So I just find it hard to believe that in my description I said something about my frustration, and that was I've been working since I was 17, um, and all during that time they've sucked Social Security money out of my paycheck. Every paycheck I got. Medicare too. And so when I apply for something that I'm eligible for and I'm old enough, nothing. They sent a few letters here and there, but when I log into my Social Security account, it shows the same place it was 2 months ago. Yet, there are people that come across our states, across our borders, and they get money. They get a government assistance right off the bat. And see, that is irritating. And it was Ghost Rider FPV. He said something about brown people. And here's the deal: I have no problem with brown people or black people or any. any colored people, as long as, and by the way, Ghost Rider served in the Navy. So I thank him. That's okay, Justin. No problem. Um, See, here's the thing. He actually found the description of this video offensive. Uh, I, uh, I don't know. You know how text messages are. I don't know exactly what he said, but he said, like in Florida, that brown people are second class second class citizens, and I don't find that to be true. And what I said in the description was illegal immigrants, not immigrants. We were all well, technically. I don't know how you work this out. I'll tell you this: I have more Native American blood in me than Elizabeth Warren has. Not that that's saying much. Just saying. Let's see, if you do the math, my grandfather's mother was full blooded. I'm not sure if it's Cherokee or Iroquois, I'm not sure. But that makes him half. My mother would be quarter, and then I would be eighth. So I'm at least an eighth Indian. So I don't know. Does that make you have a right to be here? I don't know. It is becoming it is becoming a messed up world, Craig. It is. In Australia, man, Australia is off the rails. So anyway, I just wanted to get the stuff about they keep talking about the social network, but it seems like the people that come across our border that are illegal aliens, they get money right off the bat. Oh, let me fly you somewhere. I want to know where the taxes and stuff I've been paying all my life up until this, you know, where I'm at now. Um, why isn't that there for me? And that's the thing, Justin, is that look, we are a nation of hey rat, how are you? We're a nation of immigrants. You know, um, I always call myself a Heinz 57 because that's what I am. I have all kinds of shit in me. Native American, uh, German, Jew, English, and I don't know. I've never done the 24 and me thing or whatever that is. I don't know what that where they do fraud. No, I'm not going to get into this conspiracy stuff here. All right. So, what prompted me to do all this? I saw a video. I'm trying to think of who it is. I think it's called RT, and it's funded by the Russian government. Look. All right, Kiwi, you're in New Zealand, man. Uh, I don't know how different that is from Australia, but Australia is going down the tubes, man. That's like a fascist state now, almost. COVID is a joke. I'll agree with you, nameless drummer. It's just another cold. And I remember when I was still working, I said something about that. Name of Stringer is like, it's just another flu, man. It's a virus. Oh no, it's killed so many more people than the flu. I'm like, bullshit. They they were trying to blame everything on COVID and what happened to flu deaths. What? Let's see, let's see. How many people died from the flu last year? Somebody can surely Google that. I'm telling you, man. Natural immunity. Oh, look, if you want a vax, that's cool. I don't have any problem with that. I had a polio vaccine, but I enjoyed that one because it was just a sugar cube that you ate, so that was cool. And I was young, I was a kid, but I've never had a flu shot. I think all this vaccine crap just makes your immune system lazy. And I know, Allie, and see, this is what screwed up, and we'll never know, Allie. Look, and it's different where you live, Allie, because the things are just smaller there. And, but you lock people up in their houses and everybody's breathing the same old germs. And we kind of had the same thing with that idiot in New York City, um, de Blasio. Six, six COVID patients into nursing homes that was a nursing home have in it? Mostly old people that are really susceptible um, to any kind of infection. Doesn't the flu, even a cold, people, old people, especially if they're obese, die from the cold all the time, the common cold. Yeah, look, hey, and nameless. The thing is, you were probably better protected because your immune system stepped up to the plate. Yeah, it sucks to eat and you can't taste your food. Um, Sometimes not being able to smell is a good thing. So, oh, did I, Craig? That's funny. All right, so the reason I started to do this live, it started cracking me up. And I know Australia is kind of going through this too. All these green people. So I visited I think it's called RT, and it's funded by the Russian government actually. And I liked a couple of their videos, so I subscribed. So I watched one today, and it's all about the global warming and our horrible CO2 emissions and that. We have the worst CO2 emissions per capita anywhere in the world. All right. Well, look, I'm an old guy. Uh, yeah, I'm jumping off the subject here. Allie, yeah, the spleen has a lot to do with with immunity. Absolutely. So that sucks. And look, there are special cases everywhere. I mean, yeah, okay, get the back or whatever. This is what drives me freaking crazy. Get the back, do this, do that. Yet they're they're still getting COVID. So, oh, but it'll be less severe. Okay. So how do you know that? It's like the look, how long have they had flu shots out? I don't know. Somebody Google it, please. The thing is, every vaccine. No, I can't say that definitively. I'm not a doctor. I'll be the first to say that. I just know about the theory, and when I think about the theory, and I know about, I've seen it happen with how many times have you seen people that as soon as they get a cold, they run to their doctor? Now, see, I've never been one to go to doctors. I suck at going to doctors. Doctors scare the shit out of me. Now, Allie, she's had to go to doctors a lot of her life, so I get it. But there is a reason they call it practicing medicine. Just saying. And that's because it's all theory. Oh, yeah, we can cut you open here, take this out, like your spleen, Allie. Oh, well, let's just get rid of this and then that'll end her problem. Oh, wait, there are side effects of taking that spleen out. Less immunity. Hey, brother Dan, how are you? Well, thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. I'm just on a rant. So I digressed. So I was on RT. That's the name of it. And they do live streams all the way, but there's a short one there about um, America and how bad it is on carbon dioxide or emissions. They call them emissions. Okay. Again, I've been around for a while. Okay. And I don't know exactly what year it was. I think it was in the 80s. I'm not sure. We were burning a lot of coal to generate electricity. And it was really bad in the east, or excuse me, the west, out California way. And they would get this crap called acid rain. And it would actually eat the paint off of cars and stuff like that. So I think that was in the 80s or whatever. A lot of, and nobody even thought about carbon back then. And carbon, and you know, Craig, you're exactly right. Mad Kiwi. Plants do need it. But see, even the green people were out there then. Oh, we need to have renewable energy. Let's cut down a shitload of trees so we can plant corn. Now, granted, corn probably, I'm sure corn processes of CO2, but you don't grow it for that long and then you cut it down and harvest it. A tree lasts for 100 years, you know, a lot of them. It's all part of the natural cycle, but yet humans are intent on changing the natural cycle. Oh, let's cut some trees down so that we can grow some more corn to make ethanol that screws up every engine you put it in. Okay? Oh, yeah, that's a great plan. No, pull this crap out of the ground that does good, is pretty clean, actually. Even the coal, like the coal. Let's go back to the coal. Oh, yeah, it's made out of carbon. Well, it's in the ground anyway. Anyway, we learned how to clean coal so it doesn't, I think it was sulfur dioxides. It's the sulfur dioxides um, in the coal that made the acid rain and all that. The thing is that we've come a long way to doing clean energy. You know, the wind turbines, they suck. Texas knows that really, really well after last year. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have that. Hydroelectric is awesome. solar solar stuff is awesome, but it's not always there. We need a balance. 800-year-old trees, really? That's an old tree. No, it's rat. The only thing good about corn is fiber, it kind of scrubs the insides out on the way down. So anyway, the art back to the RT thing, and that is let's see. Uh so I made some comments. They were saying about how ungreen our military was. And somebody was saying something about solar powered tanks and where do these people come from? A solar powered tank. Yeah. Um, Talking about electric cars. Look, I think electric cars are cool. Where does the energy come to power that electric car? It's usually not from the sun. Um, Although, I mean, I must say here in Florida, FPL has put up a lot of solar panel arrays. Um, and I don't have a problem with solar. It's just not ready for prime time. They talk about, oh yeah, electric car, whatever. That's Biden's plan. Yeah, okay. Well, you might be able to buy an electric car. I can't. I can't even buy an electric powered car at this point. I got nothing, man. The only reason I have any transportation is because my boss, gracious, my old boss, who I haven't worked for since the end of June, lets me hold on to a truck. So I appreciate him for that. I do. But otherwise, it'd be a 2 mile walk just to get to a convenience store, which isn't that, it wouldn't be that far if a sidewalk is involved, but for most of the walk, it is not sidewalk. It's on uneven ground on the side of the road. Hey, Robert, how are you? I'm just rambling on. So, oh, and then the RT thing, these comments coming around talking about we were the aggressor toward China and Russia. And I'm like, I kept wondering what country these people lived in. I would say, oh, as far as global warming and all that stuff, the left like to use the term existential threat. And I gotta say that China and Russia, I I think China more than anyone, actually myself, is an existential threat. I have trouble with that word. Hey Maddie, what's up? Um, I flew a Hudson the other day, Maddie. So at least I did do that. No, I did not. I mean, is that flying? I don't know. Sort of flying, but it's lazy flying. And you know the difference. So I was just wondering what these well that look, Maddie, that is true to an extent. And it was funny because I was flying in GPS mode and I realized, oh wait, I need to try and fly it a little more aggressively, or else it just rocks around too much. You know. So I downloaded it in my computer and I started making a video, and then I got tired of it. And a radio in your hand is cool. And I'm not knocking the GPS guys at all. Um, God love you. Anybody who flies, yeah. Now, Justin, all right. So, and why aren't you here? Oh yeah, you're cooking dinner. You know, and I haven't tried, Maddie. I don't have the 501. Um, I have the X4 Air, and I've never flown it in Addy mode. Never flown it in Addy mode, and I keep meaning to do that. And I mean, it puts out 5.8 gigahertz. I could put my goggles on and dial into it. Oh, did I? Hey, oh, is it still the 501? I hit a wrong button. Somebody tried to come in and I hit the wrong. Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. Okay. No, he just dropped out.
Not getting any audio, Ed. I got to try it again.
So you hear anything now? Oh, he dropped out again. So it's the same bird. You're saying it's the same bird, Matt? It's the same thing as the 501? It looks the same. Rigger, how you doing, brother? So Carlos was here. I'm hanging in there, Rigger. Thank you. Really? It's just a different box? Is that what you're saying, Maddie? Hi, Ruby. How are you? So, I gotta say, Mark, that hanging with you guys and doing the live flying and all that stuff. It was great to meet your family, and I loved it.
Having trouble hearing you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you. Why is that?
I can't see your ugly face.
Strange. Let me see if in the settings there's something I can do. I heard that. Is there a volume setting, Ed?
On what? How are you trying to
Never mind.
come
It's
in?
better. It's better. It's better now. I've got it. Anyway, happy Friday, Ed.
Happy Friday to you too. Happy Friday to everybody.
Stop polluting, Ed. What's up, Mark? So, what so far have you talked about politically here? Or you're ranting? Or America first? What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Okay. I was referring to the fact that I applied for Social Security um, almost 3 months ago,
Right?
and yet people that just come across the border uninvited just come across and they get money and transportation to wherever they want to go and housing or whatever.
Have you tried to take advantage of the same benefits that these people have and are?
Well,
You got to play the system like them. Otherwise, you're gonna if you're doing it the right way or the way you want to do it, you're gonna have to wait because that's the American way.
now that's messed up. But yeah, I guess it is.
I mean, you heard Afghan refugees that come here that left family members or something to that effect, $450,000 each. That makes sense. They want to jab people that live here, but people that come here, no jab. Hello, Miss Allie French. Yeah, it's kind of
I,
disgusting, the
no,
U.S. and the world.
this is what. Okay, this is what drives me crazy. Government keeps getting bigger, but they yeah, nameless stringer, you're right. But I can't afford a plane to Mexico. But
Mexico, I don't know if that's any better. Get the cartel to kill you over there.
I don't know. Government keeps getting bigger, and they get slower and slower at doing shit. I mean, so I kind that's how
Listen. I personally do not believe. Sorry to interrupt. I personally do not believe that whether it's Republican or Democrat, our government has our best interest. Otherwise, none of this stuff would be happening. That's just my opinion.
see. No, I mean, and I get that because first of all, 90% of these people in government are there for themselves, not for any of us.
Did you
They've
ever
been
hear them?
for themselves.
Did you ever hear them vote themselves down a pay raise?
No, absolutely no. That's never going to happen.
Have you ever
It's
heard them
never
vote them
going to happen.
down term limits? Like 2 terms and beat it? You're supposed to be a public servant. Go get a real job now. It's listen, this is what I really feel. As long as the Federal Reserve, that organization or whatever you want to call them, exists, whether you're Republican or Democrat, it's definitely crooked. Holy cow. Anyway, your turn, Ed. Rant time.
Well, I mean, just like what you said, the Federal Reserve and all that, it's a huge Ponzi scheme.
They can
You
write
know?
checks with nothing in the bank.
Oh, let's just print some more money.
and then
Well,
collect
send
interest.
some of that money you're printing to me. You know, it won't be worth as much, but I could use some of it. You know.
Move to a
Yeah,
safe
and
haven.
Justin, you're right. Florida, Texas. There's a couple others.
I don't know. That
Florida,
place is.
Texas, first and foremost.
I know you guys have more land than New York, but you guys actually have more people living in Florida than in New York. And that was
Yeah,
before. That was
that,
no. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That was before the Exodus too. That was just before the Exodus. If you go back 2 years, I think you guys had more people. I don't know why, but I guess more old people. They live longer.
oh, see, and this is the thing too. This is what cracked me up because I said this somewhere else, and that was, oh yeah, but they had so many deaths in Florida. That's because a bunch of old folks came down here and they couldn't handle anything. They would
Have
have
you
died in New York too, you know, whatever.
have you ever seen the National Geographic where the elephants go to a place to die? Have you ever seen that? Elephants go to a
Yeah,
certain place to
yeah.
die. Well, that's Florida for old people. Same shit.
No, there's a funny, very funny movie. I can't think of the name of it. Tom Selleck is in it. Tom Selleck is, I guess you would call a lead role, but it covers a lot of that. Um, and yeah, Florida does have a very high average age rigor.
From what
I
I
mean, yeah,
understand, from what I understand, at least 50% of the population of Florida is not born there. Most Floridians aren't born there, or a high percentage. Maybe I should say it that way.
high percentage would be correct. I would agree with you. I mean, we have our share of crackers down here, but I wasn't born in Florida. I've lived here since I was a year old, but um, no, Allie, they don't have her. They
Does she
don't have
believe
her.
that, or I hope that's a little sarcastic. Of course they don't.
They
One
have.
percent, 1% of the people that get this die, and they want 80 to 85% of the people to get a vaccine. That makes a lot of sense. Why don't we ask those 1% of those diabetic, unhealthy, fat ass people to stay home until this pandemic is over? How's that for a change? Holy smokes. Are you kidding me? Would that be fair? Could you imagine? Hey, you're too fat. You're unhealthy. Don't come to work. You could potentially get other people sick. Could you imagine? And I'm just being facetious here. Don't listen to me. But I mean, that's what they're telling us. Go get jabbed because of these unhealthy people. Get that. Your turn, Ed.
That that was pretty good, Carlos. I enjoyed that.
I mean, think about it. Seriously.
Look, man, all I
Here's
gotta
another.
say
Here's
is,
another quick stat. If you look it up, over like 600,000 people, or a high number of people per year die of cancer-related illnesses due to smoking. So in the last 10 years, how many people died due to cigarette smoking? And do you think they're going to stop cigarettes? No, it produces too much money, too much revenue. And what do you think the vaccine does? Where people are making money out there? Johnson and Johnson, Moderna, Pfizer. Follow the
look,
money.
I've been saying this for a while, dude. All you gotta do is watch commercials on TV. And Big Pharma is always pumping out the commercials. But in almost every damn one of them, you
The
will
side
see
effects. The side
may
effects are like,
compromise your immune system and all
yep,
this shit. You know?
that too. And most of them cause you to want to commit suicide. And they're supposed to help
Oh
you with
yeah,
like
I forgot forgot about, oh, if you have thoughts of suicide, please consult your doctor.
No, the best one is if you're allergic, stop taking. How do you find out?
No, that's a good one. That's freaking, I
Dumbass.
love that. That's
You
all.
But that was a good point you made earlier. They're practicing medicine. Absolutely. Yeah, they're worried. They're really worried about our health. I don't buy that for a minute. This is training, putting masks on and giving up your arm. This is training for something bigger. This is what they call the foot and door syndrome. That's actual documented way of people or governments of little by little just slowly getting into your freaking brain and into your house and into your mind. Control.
Look, you know what? I see so many people across the internet, across YouTube, that have been programmed by what they see and don't. You talk about critical race theory. How about just critical thinking? Think about the shit that you get shoveled all the day long, and especially the youngsters. I mean, you're no spring chicken either, Carlos.
Nope.
But it's the youngins, the youth. They just see that. Oh, it's all on the internet. It must be true. You know.
Well, that's how Hitler did it. You start with the youth, and that's what they're doing. They're indoctrinating children in schools. They're not teaching them how to think, how to process information and think for yourself. They're just programming.
And look, Allie, I'm not going to call myself anti-vax. I just don't want to be forced to
Yeah,
take
go
it when I
crazy.
don't believe I need it. You know,
I
you
think
don't
if you
have
want
a
to get,
claim.
yep.
So, I mean, I'm not saying you're bad because you took the jab.
Nope.
I'm not saying that at all. It's a personal decision, but that's what it should be. It should be a personal decision. And my personal decision has not been to take a flu shot every year. And my personal decision is not to take the jab either. And if the jab works, I am not a threat to you.
Yep. The first person with the South African variant, whatever they call it, California double jabbed. So they say, oh, well, it's because he didn't have his booster. What a bunch of crap. Give me a break.
Hiya, Mike. Night train.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with being white, black, yellow. I don't. Actually, I have an idea. I don't know if I told you this yet, Ed. But next time, and I'm serious, Drone 863 should do this. Okay, so next time there's a black on black crime, murder, you get about 200, 300, 400 white people and go into that black neighborhood and show your outrage of black on black crime. What do you think? A peaceful demonstration of all white people, and they go into a black neighborhood after all the black on black crime, especially in Chicago. They could have freaking demonstrations daily.
Yes, they should.
That's my idea.
All right,
I want to see what Black Lives Matter has to say or what CNN has to say.
Yeah, but you got to have a different name. It can't be BLM.
No, it's no name. You just go there. You say we're outraged. You know, white folks outraged.
Yeah,
Whatever. You don't have to. You don't have to give it a title.
You gotta have a title.
All right, stop the senseless killing. Stop the murders. Stop the black on black crime. White people against black on black crime. I would love to see the reaction of black people. That's what I want to see. More than anything.
So can I carry my AR-15?
If it's legal, yeah. You probably wouldn't get media coverage. Same thing. I want to have a straight day parade.
You want what?
Straight day parade. You know how they have gay parades and Veterans Day parades and Thanksgiving Day
Yeah.
parades? I want a straight parade. On the straightest street in this freaking world. No, I'm only kidding.
Well, most of the straights are pretty straight down here. Or streets, I should say.
No, this whole
Hey,
world is backwards.
FLS 360. I'm just goofing off. I had a rant about political shizzle. Look, I'll tell you right off the bat. Okay. I'm a Trump supporter. I love Trump. I think the way the media. Now, I kind of get the media's anger at him because he called them fake news and called them bad names all the time. But Trump was a New Yorker, man. You know, he could be obnoxious at times.
Actually, that is a true statement, but I believe that Trump was just Trump, and I think the more accurate statement might be Trump was not a typical politician more than he was a New Yorker. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. He was not a typical politician,
So
and the
that's
typical
the part,
politician couldn't
right?
freaking stand it.
Right. He didn't sound presidential, and that's what appealed to people. He didn't sound like he was giving you a whole bunch of horse poop, a line of crap all the time. Yes, the system is broken.
So, and you know,
Yeah, Trump wasn't going to necessarily make anything better. You don't really believe that presidents are actually in control, even in the United States, right? Like you don't actually believe Biden is in control. There's no way.
Biden is definitely not in control. I think Trump was far more in control than Biden ever thought of being. So, yeah, let's go, Brandon. Exactly. FLS 360. Yeah, you're right, Rick Morris. So I don't know. It was just funny when I saw this video from RT, which is funded by the Russian military, and I made a comment.
It's not by
And then I get all
military,
these
but yes,
tweets
Russian.
about replies, and I had to respond back to them. But they kept talking about us killing ourselves because America puts out so much pollution, carbon footprint, and stuff like that per capita. I'm like,
He hasn't been
dude,
to India.
I know, or China, where the
Yeah.
clouds they all go around wearing masks, and it's not because of coronavirus, it's because their air sucks. You know, so I don't know. It just made me angry, and so I kept replying back and replying back, and they were talking about a green military. Oh yeah, solar powered tank. Are you out of your mind?
Well, all right, but Ed, you got to think of it. Let's take that for a second. Let's say it's a Russian news, right? If I was the enemy, I would suggest that my enemy gets something that's inferior. So yeah, get solar powered. You know what I mean? Makes sense for them to suggest solar powered, of course, and train 14-year-olds how to drive the tanks too. Oh man.
Now that you think about it, Carlos, that makes
You know, many moons ago, there was some kind of a, what do they call that? what's the word? Like a program to decode and keep certain information, classified. And it was run by a certain company. And many countries, took advantage of their services, except for Russia and China. Turns out years later, they find out it was the CIA that was running that company and just listening to
Oh,
other
no way,
countries.
really?
Yeah, they were listening to other countries' stuff. Yep. Smart.
Here is the scary part is that there is so much that goes on in our government and other governments that I'll be dead before I find out about them and realize the shit that was going on 20 years ago.
I'm sure somebody like Rigger, I think, knows about this World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, this guy Charles Klaus. And everybody's known what's his name, that freaking Soros prick. But that's where the power and the money is. These freaking people are crazy.
And that,
The
look,
things that they
dude,
want in their future, it's dangerous.
the globalists, they're these billionaires and stuff like that out there, they're globalists. They think there should be a one world order, you know? And perhaps one day there will be.
Problem is, they
Um,
feel they know better than the individuals.
exactly.
That's
They
the
don't
that's the issue.
believe in freedom and liberty because
No, not even that, Ed. They just feel like they know better. And I'll give you a national example is this kid, what's his name? Something House, Rittenhouse, right?
yes, Rittenhouse.
Okay, so 12 people, his peers, found him innocent, regardless of color, blah, 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 blah. But yet you hear somebody here in New York, what's his name? Bill de Blasio say, oh, that was an injustice. So apparently he doesn't believe in the system of jury, and he thinks that he knows better than the 12 citizens that found this guy innocent. That's the kind of stuff that bugs the crap out of me. And you hear it in the
And
news as well, people's opinions. Go ahead.
and not only that, I guarantee you his ass did not watch the trial.
That's besides the point. Just the fact that 12 people found him innocent wasn't enough for him.
And that's bad in of itself. But it's just like, and I only know this because if I watch any news channel, it's going to be Fox News, just because I just find them to be them and Sky News, which is based out of Australia, actually. But they are undergoing a lot of the same draconian, even more draconian measures than we are these days.
You know who seems
Um,
to embrace it? Europe. It's like they like being told what to do, or made into sheep. It's strange.
people, people.
I mean, I don't know. They need the lines on the highways. They really need direction. They can't do it on their own. It's kind of sad.
It is sad. But
But
Jimmy, you made me forget what I was going to talk about.
don't you have a piece of paper and pencil there with notes? I thought you were a note taker.
I only wrote a few notes. I'm kind of lazy. So, no, I'm not actively writing on a pad while I'm listening
No,
to
that I
this.
know. I thought you had a whole little guideline or outline.
No, not really.
Well, it
I
had
just
something to
kind of
do with
wrote a
America
couple
First.
lines. I wanted to address, let me look at my notes.
America First.
Ghost Rider FPV, who said something about like brown people are already at a disadvantage in Florida, and I say I disagree. He was nice about it, but He served in the Navy, I think it was, and I thanked him for his service. He's obviously not here now because he hasn't said anything. He was in here before I ever went live, but he seemed to think my description of the my this live stream somehow was against brown people, and no, it's not. It's not against brown people, black people, white people, red people,
Is your
yellow
description?
people, whatever color you are. Just coming here the right way. Don't just walk across the border and then get money. Money for nothing. Get your chicks for free. Well, they bring their own chicks a lot of the times, but the
uh,
but I mean, I'm like, look, I lived in South Florida for 10 to 12 years, something like that. I worked with a lot of brown people and a lot of black people too, and I loved them all. There were a couple that were assholes, but you can find those in any color. Look, assholes come in all colors. They're not relegated to one color or a couple. They come in all colors. I've met plenty of white assholes too. And I don't really call myself white actually. I mean, I
you're white.
look white.
You are white. Caucasian, for
No,
sure.
I'm more white now than I was because I don't spend as much time out in the sun as I used to, but I tan up pretty good.
Well, no, let me keep this on a, let me keep it kosher. Actually, I think that, what was his name? The first person you were talking about? Some FPV person? Brown person?
Uh, Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. Okay, so I'm assuming he's a brown person. I don't know if that means black or Latin. I don't really care. I think the issue with him, by what he was saying, is, and until, and maybe now you might, but until you're an actual, I'll use it, the word loosely, a victim of racism, you don't really know what it's like. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, no, I get that.
I've been here and I used to get called spick, hoye, this, that, and the other thing, and I dealt with it. I didn't cry about it and do a protest and go shopping for free, $1,000 or less, so it's a misdemeanor. I didn't do any of that. I just dealt with it and called them names back. but but I'm saying is, unless you like, I work with a guy that went to school with only one black person in the whole school. Imagine what that kid felt like. You know what I'm saying? So for a minute, you do got to put yourself in other people's shoes, but at the same time, that race card's got to be, get over yourself already. Because I'm of Puerto Rican descent, and I've been called racist by blacks and Latins, and then I start cursing them out in Spanish, and then they shut up. You know? They have nothing to say all of a sudden. But anyway, so I kind of understand what that Ghost Rider is talking about.
No, I mean, I look, I get it if, like what you said, I'm the only black person in the school. Now, I've never been to a school where, and it's been years since I've been in a school, and come on, man, Florida, man, we're supposed to be a racist state? Nah. I actually got attacked a couple times by a couple, the black dude. But it had nothing to do. What I don't know that it was about my color at all. He just
Right.
had a problem with me for some reason, and so I'll be the first to admit. Well, I was a kid, so I didn't know any better. I had my cracker father, and
Wait for a second, Ed. I'm curious as to where Drone 8, Justin got that information that the most successful race are Asians, not whites.
Yeah, actually, per capita, the Asians, they unfortunately they have a higher ethic. I'm not saying unfortunately, but well,
Well, I
it
don't
is.
know, but I've never heard of Warren Buffett Chang, or Bill Gates Chung, or or Jeff Bezos Zing or Zang.
Okay.
I don't know how the that's not good if their per capita is that high, that's not good. That doesn't say a lot for the whites because I think most of the wealthiest men in the United States are white. So that should bring your average up.
No, the thing is, Carlos, is that
I
the
understand what you were
Asians
going to say,
are
culture, right?
better at hiding their success.
Well, if you mean they have cash in the apartment house or in the mattress or in the backyard, absolutely.
That's what I'm getting at. See, if you draw attention to yourself, then you get called out, you know. Hey, man, give me some of that cash you got in the mattress.
I'm not sure that's totally true, but probably not to the same extent, Rat. They probably don't. They're a little bit more humble people.
And I applaud that. I mean,
Yeah, that's the problem that people get into financial headaches is you make a little bit of money, then all of a sudden you make a lot of money, then you start spending more money, but you forget everything you buy costs to maintain and keep, and you get yourself into debt. And then all of a sudden that big money goes away, and oops, there it is. White
and
privilege.
that's why you don't. That's why you don't do credit, man. I've been down the credit road before.
I tell you
Oh,
this,
really?
I had a client, Ed, and he sold the house to an Asian family. He said it took longer to count the money because they brought it in cash than it did to do the closing. That's how
Oh,
these people
really?
do. That's how these people do business. Cash. Yep. And the other thing they do is, which is not a bad thing, is I don't know. I find maybe it's an American thing or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, but the Asians, they have 2 or 3 generations living in one house. Maybe they'll just have a bigger house, but that just means less money. You know what I'm saying? Paying for rent
Uh,
or mortgages and stuff like that. So it's a whole different mindset. So it makes sense that they have money. They spend less. Yep. Cash is king.
well, I mean, they are kind of all about the family and the lineage and all that kind of stuff. And I look, the they take care of the old and they take care of their kids, and it's a communal effort, and that's pretty cool. I get that, and I applaud them for that. They believe in family,
Yep.
and
It's a good
that
thing.
is probably a huge reason why they are so successful is because they
I
believe
wonder,
in family.
I wonder if, I couldn't tell you, if they have the same amount of nursing homes, senior citizen kind of places in China or in these countries like they do here. Because again, I've done work in these, I do the fish tanks in these senior citizens centers, and these people are like half dead. And then I ask the nurses or the whatever you want to call them, health aides, these people get visited, and half of them don't, and the other half barely. It's just a place. It's like a Florida. It's a building. Sad. These people get visited, and half of them don't, and the other half barely. There's the echo. Should I leave and come back? It's like a Florida. A building. Yeah. Ed, are you there? You
I'm
froze. No,
here.
you moved. Okay. If white privilege was a real thing, then every white person would be living large. That's not necessarily true. You got to work for it too. I think what you have to do is, whatever color you are, have a good idea, work hard, and don't give up. Alfredo. Nowadays, it's a little tough, though. I will say that they are trying to. Actually, what's happening, and it's not good, is they're lowering standards to get people in, and even women. That's the problem. Lower standards, not a good thing.
So you're blaming it on women now?
Mm-mm. I'm blaming it on lower standards. They want to have women in. They want to have black women in. They want to have gay black women in. They want to have gay black men. They want to have gay people in. They want to have transsexuals in, and then they'll have normal people in. But all the other people first. All those freaking psychos that people say, not that there's anything wrong with it, but there is a lot wrong with it. Those people. They want them in first.
I will go back to something that was said, I don't know what year it was. It was in the 60s by Martin Luther King. It should have nothing to do about skin color, but the content of your character. That's all that should matter.
You got to qualify for a job, period, or a position, or whatever. You even got to qualify to be a parent, a person, a human. You ever hear Chris Rock? Chris Rock talks about that. He talks about how some people, they say, well, at least I support my kids. He goes, dummy, you're supposed to support your kids. What do you want, a cookie for doing the right thing? That's the kind of mentality that people have. Oh, I have kids. Oh, I got to support them too. Unbelievable.
That was a very funny. Chris Rock rocks. Okay.
Yep.
And see, that's the whole thing, is because no matter what the color is, some people just get it. They just get it. They don't want to be a victim. They don't want to be considered a victim. They just want to live their life with freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And if they can make a whole bunch of money in the process, congratulations, good for you. Thumbs up, you're helping. You know?
Right. Well, that's real quick. That's a true statement, Drone 863. But I'll even take it a further. It'd be nice if they had two parents in the house too. That's another issue. That's the breakup of a family is the breakup of a nation, and that's what's happening. A lot of single parents, but because they push that, they don't call a mother that has a baby. They don't call the child a bastard anymore. It's a love child. There's no shame in action anymore.
I love child.
There's no shame. Serious. That's part of the agenda. Break up the family. We have kids out there letting themselves home.
That's cool, Mark. Yeah, there's nothing for free, man. I've been paying for free all my life, but I haven't gotten nothing for free other than some donations I've gotten. So I hear you, Justin or Maddie. So I'm ready for some social welfare now, but
Here's another thing. Here's another thing is parents telling their kids they're special. You're not special. You're special to me, nobody else. It's that mentality. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody wins. There's no competitiveness. Depend on the government. They'll tell you what to do. They know how to run your life.
Yeah, that's sad. You wait before you can get your Social Security pension, if you'll call it that. They'll want you to give proof of vaccination. Hey, Mr. Crowley.
Mr.
It
C.
is a continuous cycle, right,
Drone,
Robert? You're right.
I'll be droned is in here too, Ed.
Hey, Dano, how are you, brother? I'm just ranting and got Carlos in here.
Talking politics.
Talking politics. And the state of the nation, basically. And I want to know, all right, so opinions, please. I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican. Okay.
But you act like a Democrat. Go ahead.
Is kind of crazy, you know. And so, can we make it through 2022 when I think a red wave will sweep the country?
Not for nothing, but 2021 has been a great year for me. I've had a great time this year.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
I even got to hang out with you. That was this year, Ed, March.
That, Carlos, I have to say, hanging out with you was the highlight of 2021 for me.
Dude, we had fun. I mean, from beginning to end, we barely had time to charge batteries in between.
Thanks to you, Mike,
and Mike, yep.
Train, Drone Worship, Dan, who we disagree politically, but I love the guy. And,
he's a prick.
Mitch, yeah, he can be an asshat at times, but Mitch, Michael Blades, Jim, Above and Beyond Drone, and Ron, RL Photography. You know, and some of the people I met were far different to me in person than they were. Hey, Hugh.
Yeah, what you expected.
Different to me in person than I expected.
Yep.
So, Maddie. Maddie was another one I met down there. I did not meet Hugh.
He was in Canada, so.
You learned to fly in FPV in 2022?
21. No, 2021. If he wrote 22, it's a mistake.
I was going to say, it's not 2022 yet.
That's
You're
a typo.
ahead of yourself, you.
He's ahead of his time. And that's another thing. We all went, other than Adrian, but I think he finally snapped out of it. We all went in March 18th when this whole virus thing was, what do they call that? New, and none of us were wearing masks. None of us were wearing masks in the hotel rooms. None of us were wearing masks at the restaurant, and none of us died. What are we just? What are we just lucky?
None of us even
and I don't know about you, but I wasn't vaccinated back then. You know what I mean? So I don't know what to tell you.
None of us got sick either.
Are we lucky? I know.
I mean, you said something about nobody died. Nobody even got sick.
That I'm aware of? Nope.
And we were hugging each other and shit.
Yep.
I even gave Adrian a kiss.
I hear you. So did I.
Not on the lips, mind you.
I was hoping that was a given.
Well, I just had to make sure I explain that. No, I'm with you, Maddie. Look, ever since the pandemic came out, some people call it bullshit. I'm not denying it's not a nasty virus. I'm not denying that.
but it's not worth making people vax for it.
And it's not worth living in fear for either.
Well, that I've never had an issue with as far as that, because I really don't believe that it was that serious. If you're unhealthy, if you're fat, diabetic, have breathing issues, asthmatic problems, stay home until you get healthy. Until then, I don't know. Serious.
Well, I mean,
It pisses me off that they want 99% of the population to worry about the 1% or whatever the percentages is. All right.
you know what I find is that's humorous, okay, is that before all this started, when you walk up to a bank or whatever, or even a store, I don't remember seeing the stores have a sign saying this, but it was a given that you weren't supposed to cover your face. But especially going into a bank, they didn't even want you to wear dark sunglasses, you know. And then all of a sudden, oh yeah, let's everybody mask up.
And they were getting
So
robbed left and right.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Good.
you know, you watch look. If you pay attention to the news, you see these smash and grab robberies, especially out in California. But it's been happening in Michigan, New York, stuff like that, where it's what they call a flash mob. I think they call it,
Right.
and they've all got masks on, which is perfectly acceptable now. So the cameras can't pick up who it is or whatever. You know, I don't know. It's just it just it
Listen,
freaks me out
I've
that
been to all the different little meetups in Brooklyn with Paul and Charlie the whole summer, and we haven't given anybody anything other than a hard time. We're yeah, gone in and out of my mom's place. She's 80. She's gonna turn 80. She just turned 87. Haven't worn a mask in her house either. So I think if you're
I don't even get wearing a mask inside the house. Now,
well,
okay.
Fauci said now you don't have to wear a mask while you take a shower. It's safe. Go ahead, Ed.
Oh God. I don't know. I've seen people riding around outside, people in their car, alone, only person in the car, but they're
Yep.
wearing a mask.
Yep.
I'm like, why? Now, isn't it? Yeah, super spreader Carlos.
Maybe I've been around quite a few people with this virus, so maybe they're helping me little by little, giving me some coronavirus germs. I'm just fighting it slowly.
And that way you build up your natural immunity, brother.
I mean, the fact they tell you to wear a mask and stay home, number one killer of the immune system, because it's just dying at home. All you're breathing is the same old dust. That's stupid. And then when you go out, of course you're going to get sick, and there's going to be a spike and a surge. And that's why you need the boosters. Dummies. I think it was Mike Night Train. Mike Night Train made a comment. He goes, "Let me tell you, I fart through my jeans and my boxer shorts, and you smell it. You think a mask is going to help?"
I like old Crony's garage comment. I wear a mask in the shower to protect myself from a giant one-eyed snake that likes to eat people.
Yeah. Get your vaccine. Hell no. I'm not part of the experiment. No thanks.
There you go, Dano. Okay, I don't know about I don't know about mean. I don't think I've never seen a mean bone in your body, but the thing is, here's my thing. I've been saying all along. I mean, people that are at risk, go ahead, get the vaccine. I'm not anti-vax. I don't have a problem with you being getting the vax. That's what you want to do. That's your decision. It's your body, your choice. Like they try and say about
You know
abortion,
what?
not to
You
bring
know what's
that
interesting?
into the mix, but
You know what's interesting that I was thinking about is they want to force you, mandate you to get this vaccine, but they think it's outrageous that they would want to stop the murder of babies through abortion. That should be the woman's right. Kill the baby, even if the father or the person involved says no. Kill the baby. That's the woman's right. But I'm making you take a vaccine because 1% of the population is going to die. Give me a freaking break. None of this
see,
makes
here's
sense.
all right. So you brought this up.
Excuse me.
All right, the Supreme Court is deciding a case that could limit Roe v. Wade or else turn it back to the states. This is all about the Mississippi law that says no abortions after 15 weeks,
Right. After a certain amount of
except
weeks.
under certain circumstances. Okay, here's my thoughts on this. Okay. If at 15 weeks, by 15 weeks, you have decided, you should have decided whether or not you want this baby or not. Make the choice early and take care of business. Why would you want to wait until the baby becomes a viable human being? And I really did not come here to talk about that, but you brought it up. So I thought
I'm
I
just
would.
bringing it up because like the kind of backwards thinking. It's okay to murder in one case, but we're gonna force you. Like they're outraged that they could make women or force women to have a baby. You know what I'm saying? After 15 weeks, meaning not have an abortion. That's outrageous. But it's not outrageous to force people to get a vaccine. That's my point.
I got you. Well, I'm just saying at
I
14
personally,
weeks,
just for the record, I personally don't believe that making abortions illegal solves anything. You got to actually get the person to believe it in their brain. You know what I'm saying? You have to change somebody's thinking, not their freaking. You can't force somebody to do something. It's like, what do you call it? What did they call it when they stopped alcohol? What was that called?
prohibition.
Prohibition, right? That doesn't do anything. That just forces people to do it illegally.
No, and no, that's a good point. My point was that by 15 weeks, you should have decided whether you want that baby or not. So that's all I'm saying. I mean, you still have autonomy on your body. You just got to make the decision sooner. What? Are you like him hawing about this? Oh, let me think. Oh, let's give it another week and see how I feel about it. Now, I have little room to talk because I am the world's worst procrastinator. And I kind of get the procrastination thing. It just seems like, hey, fetus is smaller, might be a little less invasive. Maybe I should take care of this now until the baby has a heartbeat and might feel pain and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying. That's all.
Consider the cost of your actions. And that's kind of true, rigor mortis. These are distractions. The
They're
next big
not.
distraction is going to be a war or Russia or China, at least with the U.S. That's the next one.
You don't. The whole thing about this this thing that the Supreme Court is doing about abortions right now is because of Mississippi's new abortion law, and that is 15 weeks is the limit. You should have decided by now, or no, you got to carry it to term. But what the whole decision is about is the legality of Mississippi's rule. And what this case about is give it back to the state.
Oh, bang.
State,
Go ahead, Ed.
Huh?
Sorry. Nothing. I'm sorry. I was talking to Lucy.
Hi, Lucy. That's all I want to talk about that anyway. I mean, I'm a pro-life guy, but I understand that mistakes happen. I just think you should make up your decision before 15 weeks. That's all.
Let's talk about immigration.
Which immigration? The kind of
illegal.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I want my liberation. What's your opinion on immigration, Ed?
My immigration is that you need to come here the right way. You're not allowed to just walk across the border. Look.
Okay, you said that pretty well. Now here's another question. How do you feel is a good way of combating immigration? You think a wall will really help?
Yes, I do.
Really?
I think finishing the wall, which was pretty damn close to being complete, and not only that, but not offering incentives to those that cross illegally.
All right, here's my idea. I was talking about it with Charlie. He doesn't necessarily agree. I say fine heavily fine employers or anybody who hires them so that they don't have a reason to come here because they're not going to find employment. And the theory is sort of like stop buying. If you stop buying stolen or hot products items, it would give a thief no reason to steal anymore because he doesn't have a customer. Follow what I'm saying?
Yes, I follow exactly what you're saying, and that was a policy for a while. They were finding employers that hired illegals actually for a while.
Well,
hey, Michael Blade, how are you?
That's what they should do. They should heavily fine anybody who employs these people and see how fast they're going to keep coming here because they think there's work here. They think there's money to be made.
And there is money to be made.
I'm talking about the illegal ones. They still come here because there's money to be made. Are you kidding me? You know how many housekeepers and people picking fruit and plants and who knows what? They'd all disappear. You understand what I'm saying? I think that would be a more effective way, personally.
As long as they can't, as long as that would. And we used to do that. But as long as now there's social networks to help out these immigrants. And see, they're not immigrants, they're invaders. That's a far cry from those that have come here legally. You know, it doesn't go back to the color of their skin. It's how they came here.
You know, there's immigrants of all kinds coming here from down south, not just Mexicans. There's
absolutely.
Don't kid yourself.
No, there's a whole bunch of Haitians, and I have nothing against Haitians. Some of them are some of the hardest working people I've ever seen.
That's a true statement.
And
here's another thing to consider. Check this out, Ed.
I worked in South Florida for 12 years. I think
Hmm.
12 years, something like that. And while down there, I worked with Cubans, I worked with Puerto Ricans, I worked with Argentinians, Chileans, Haitians, and for the most part, they were all very hardworking and did a good job and were worth every penny they were paid. But then I also know somebody that her daughter worked where I worked, and her mother came here from Argentina and lived with her mother long enough. And I think she might have worked at the store too, some. Not sure about that.
I'm more worried
But
about
she
China than Russia.
stayed
You?
here long enough to get hooked up with Medicare. And as soon as she had been here long enough to get Medicare, she took her ass back to South America. And she had only lived here 6 months, paid very little in taxes, if anything. And then went back just so that she could have Medicare benefits. And the people that do that kind of thing are leeches on our society. Not that we don't have plenty of homegrown leeches already.
I'll be right back. Give me a minute. Wait.
Hugh, I'll agree with you there, brother. I'm telling you, there are some people that poo-poo China's resources and stuff like that, Hugh. And
Hey Ed,
yeah,
consider this, Ed. You ready? Excuse me. Imagine if you got rid of. Well, first consider this. Right now, the U.S. government is hurting for money, right? They pretty much
right.
spend more money than they collect in taxes, right?
They've been doing that for a while.
So imagine if they took all the immigrants, illegal immigrants that lived in the United States, and got rid of them all at once. Do you imagine the tax base that they would lose, that these people spend throughout the day, throughout the week? Do you imagine how much money would just leave the country? Wow. I think that's part of the reason they don't really get rid of them.
Most of that money comes from sales tax and stuff, so
Exactly.
not.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's a big percentage because income
That's
tax.
an interesting thought, actually.
If you look at income tax, I think 40, like 40, 45, the lower 40, 45% don't pay anything.
That's true.
So a lot of that is retail revenue. Indian news outlets. Anyway, yeah, I think that would be a bad thing. It would hurt the U.S. if they really wanted to get rid of them all. They would have to start manufacturing their own stuff here, which I don't know why they don't do. China was the reason for this problem, yet everything you buy says made in China. So are we really pissed off at them? I don't really think the Russians are a problem. Think about it. There's a Russian U.S. space station. How much friction can we possibly have if we're spending time in space with them and money? I don't know. I think China's gonna. Their plan is to beat us financially or economically. They don't give a crap about us militarily. Not to mention, I don't think many wars are fought that way anymore. Anyway,
Well, China concerns me, and I just got back, by the way.
I heard. I mean, I don't.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I know you could handle it. I could hear you talking. I have to rewatch when I was gone, but
I didn't say anything about you.
so Rigger is saying China's in decline. It's a paper dragon. I don't know. They got those hypersonic rockets out there, but I mean, there could be some truth to that. And Hugh, I agree with you there, brother. And Justin is Drones 863 has made a few mentions of this, and
5
I don't
trillion.
know, man. I just think the world is a
Oh, the
very
real estate
dangerous
market.
place right now because Trump is gone and we got this bumbling buffoon in
Actually,
office.
look, talking about what Justin just said. If you add up credit card debt, student loan debt, auto loan debt, and and the national debt, America is in bad shape. Way worse than, or just as bad as China. I mean, more than ever in the world.
Oh, and
And
I
and you
saw
know
an
what's coming next, if it hasn't started already? Sorry to cut you off, Ed, real quick. Is that once this pandemic started, nobody had to pay rent or mortgage. That's going to stop, or that's going to catch up to people. Let's see what happens then.
yeah.
It's not going to be a fun time.
Hey, the Watcher, how are you?
Watcher.
All right, Carlos, come on. You can't put a picture up there at least
Nah,
of
it's dark and I'm
Biden.
eating and chewing. Sorry.
No,
Picture,
but you
just
can
picture
put
a
up a
penis.
still picture instead of just a head and shoulders guy.
I have to set that up another time. Hey, look, it's Mr. Baduga. Luis.
Paduga Lewis, brother. Hey, old crony. Glad to have you back.
So you think the wall's more effective than what I suggested?
What did you say? Oh no, I think the two need to work in tandem. Actually,
Yeah.
if you make it past the wall, then yeah, you can't get paid. So you might as well carry your ass back across the border, climb the wall back the other way. I have no problem with the wall. In fact, I'm sorry for my California brothers and in California and let's see, Oregon and Washington State. But I think Trump should have carried that wall right up the coast all the way to Canada and bought California, Oregon, and Washington State out. Give them back to Mexico.
Yep. On the
Hey,
way out.
Dominic.
That
I
is
don't
so
know.
true.
I look. I've been following politics for a long time. And I've been told by some, I won't mention their names, that what are you doing politics? This is supposed to be a drone channel. Well, this is what I will tell you about flying drones and why these two are linked. And that
Your whole
is
your whole life is linked to politics. Go ahead.
what I'm saying is the whole flying drone thing is all about freedom and liberty. Um, we want to be able to fly. I mean, granted, I don't feel like my freedoms are being restricted if I can't fly over an airport. I don't want to do that, but I don't want any rules about just flying in the backyard or the park or whatever. Oh yeah, I get not going over 400 feet and all that. That's cool. I don't have any problem with that.
Right.
Um, but us as drone flyers, when do you feel more free? When do you feel more like a bird? It's when you're flying a drone.
Or walking
And
around the apartment naked. But go ahead. That's another thing. Go ahead.
yeah, well, yeah, it is. Well, hey, walking
I'm just
around,
saying. Just saying.
walking around in the apartment naked is your right. Just make sure you pull the blinds down when you do
I do it with a mask, so I'm safe.
that. But I mean, it's funny the last time I did this political kind of thing on this channel, my Love My Drones channel, I was surprised at how many drone flyers came in and hung in for a while.
Why
And
not?
that's
That's
because
that's
they
who knows you.
believe. Do what?
It makes sense because we know you, we like you, and if we agree with you, we're gonna hang out. If we don't, see ya. Listen, I don't know why people always say don't talk about politics on YouTube. Why is that? Because it causes friction?
I
Does this
guess.
have to be a safe space like college? I mean, is it really that pussyfied? Is that why America is where it is? Because nobody wants to say anything out loud? Because everybody believes that stupid Seinfeld statement? Not that there's anything wrong with it. Let me tell you something. If there's an ass in somebody's penis in some guy's ass, there's something wrong with it. I don't care what. It's always wrong. And that the silent majority is what made America into a poopsville. How many people are transvestite or want to identify as women, but yet they got bathrooms changed? They actually got bathrooms and signs changed for less than 1% of the population because nobody wanted to say anything against it because there's nothing wrong with that. And look, that's what we got now. Now you go into a bathroom and you can see a guy with a dress with a beard and he's, well, I'm a woman today and you got to deal with it. You can't say anything. And you could possibly, if you're a single man with a daughter, have to let the girl in there by herself. Do you imagine?
No, I cannot imagine. And that is completely ridiculous to me.
But that's my point because people are, well, don't talk about politics or I need a safe space or don't talk about, I'm sick of that attitude. Anyway, your turn, Ed.
Well, I'm with Jeff Freestyle. I want to identify as wealthy too. Um,
Well, I remember when they came out with those specific pronouns, I told the guy I work with, I said, from now on, I want to be referred to as Your Majesty. Otherwise, I'm calling my lawyer. He, she, him, her, they. The freaking world is nuts.
Hey, love you, Baduga.
Go ahead, I'm Portuguese.
I have no idea what it's like in Portugal. I really don't.
Trust me, it has nothing to do with where you live. It has to do with
And
freaking human nature.
take it easy, Hugh. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for hearing our rants.
Look, man, this is a communications platform. I think it's good for people. It doesn't even matter if we agree.
We're not
We
asking
agree
anybody
to
to agree.
disagree.
Right.
Look,
We're not asking anybody to agree either. Sorry.
I think it's just healthy to have a conversation about this kind of stuff. I don't know.
I think it's unhealthy to not want to or be afraid to. That's unhealthy, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Because otherwise,
You're living in somebody else's
hide in
world.
your own little safe place, as you
Yep.
put it,
Yep.
Carlos. And you don't. The only thing I ask people to do is just have an open mind and don't be so staunch in what you think is right. Listen to the other side. Now I'm pretty staunch, but I'm a crossy old bastard. I have that right, but let's see. Could I say I want a Dodge with a gas burner engine without being caught? That old cranky garage. That's pretty funny. I'd like to have a gas burner too, although it's kind of
That's right.
expensive these days. And Marcel, I agree
I
with you.
agree. Yep. You have to hear both sides, whether you would disagree or not. Actually, I'll take that further. When you hear the other side, it's like you know what the enemy is according to your side. You want to know what the enemy is thinking.
Hey, Jeff Freestyle, how are you, brother, man? Love you, dude. And look, Rigger, I've said this.
Of course,
Look,
he's raping us.
look, just look at the Constitution and or is it in the Bill of Rights, which is part of the Constitution, is that every American is supposed to have the right to live life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, as long as you do not infringe on somebody else's rights. Now, to me, letting some guy with a beard wearing a skirt going into a woman's bathroom because they identify as female is infringement on anybody else's life and liberty, a woman that is in that same bathroom. Okay? So you are entitled to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness as long as you do not infringe on anybody else's rights to be the same. That's all. It's a really very simple concept.
Double standards. It's again distractions to make this world freaking more crappy, or the United States at least. Europe's already in the toilet. You know, I googled where the first gay marriage was. It was in the freaking Netherlands. Now I know why they think the way they think.
Well, I mean, I look. If a
Makes
couple
sense.
gay people want to get married, I don't have a problem with that.
I do. Then they want to have kids.
I
Then they want to have rights and this and that, and it changes everything.
yeah, no. Well, look,
Uh-uh. Then they come out with books. Why does
I
Mary have two
agree.
daddies?
No, I saw that. Oh my God.
I'm
No
telling you, the
wonder
minute you
kids
give
would
in,
say
the
are
minute you
so
give in to the gay
superior.
marriage, people aren't going to take marriage seriously. Would you take marriage seriously if you knew two men can get married? Come on.
Yeah, they're just claiming a partnership, and I know
Because
they
they
do
love each other and they want benefits? Give me a break.
that. No, I give you that. No, look.
And then they want us to call transvestite men women. They want us to believe the lie. Like I tell you the same thing all the time. I take a blue crayon and put a yellow wrapper around it. Does it make the crayon yellow? Nope. But they want me to call the crayon yellow because that's their delusion, and they want me to live in their delusion, and I refuse. That's crazy.
No, I'm with you there, man.
But that's why I'm saying you can't give in a little, because they don't know when to stop. Now they have freaking transvestites reading to 5 and 6-year-olds in libraries and in kindergarten classes, and they're trying to make this normal. They even have a freaking gay Santa Claus in Norway. Holy cow!
Really? What? Do you have a picture of that?
Why do you want to see that?
I don't know. I'm just interested to know what the hell it looks like.
It's Santa Claus
I
kissing some man. Google it.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to do that.
Listen, the day that they call wrong right is the day that we're in trouble, man. And that's what's been happening. They're starting to call stuff that's just wrong right, all in the name of freedom and consenting adults and blah blah blah, and it's all BS. Inflation is the way they're trying to collect their stimulus money, at least here in the U.S.
I, you
I can't
know,
I can't explain why there's inflation in Europe or wherever, but all that stimulus money has to be paid back. They're getting it back. Gas at the store.
they're not. Look, first of all, these people that did all that stimulus shit, they're not worried about paying it back. They'll be dead by then.
It's not
And
even worried about paying it back. It's what they're doing to the country. They're killing it. They're crushing it.
no, I know. Look, and I'm sure it's more troubling for you than it is for me. I don't
Yep,
know. It's
that's true.
troubling for me too, but I don't have kids.
Fiat
So,
currency. That's why I was saying the Federal Reserve. As long as the Federal Reserve exists, whether you're Republican or Democrat, if you support them, you're crook. You're a crook. That's it.
I'm trying to think of the term for it. Play money. And you're right. Uh, Morals have gone out the window, Lewis.
There are none. That's what it's exactly what Jeffrey is saying. It's good versus
They
evil.
they actually celebrate immorality.
Listen, I have a friend. He's an Army reservist. Spent a year in Afghanistan. He's still a reservist, and he's an NYPD cop. He goes, doesn't make sense. They have one day for Veterans Day, and they got a whole uh, Gay Pride Month here in New York. 1 month for gay people, 1 day for veterans. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't.
Screwed up. That's the kind of world we live in, and that goes back to what Jeff said: good versus evil.
Oh,
The friend is
I
private. That's exactly right. That's what's even worse. They write a check, no money in the bank, and then they get paid in interest. Holy cow! What a racket! Now, here's the worst thing that you could possibly do is give into digital currency. What does this say, Ed? I can't see it on my phone. You want to read it?
it says okay. This is a contrast to what was being said about Rittenhouse and what happened in Waukesha, which is where the black dude, and yes, he was black, drove. Okay, so this is what the tweet says from CNN. Waukesha will hold a moment of silence today, marking 1 week since a car drove through a city Christmas parade, killing 6 people and injuring scores of others. So apparently, this car, I guess it was like Christine's grandson car, you know, grand car, whatever. Do y'all remember seeing the movie Christine?
Yes, yes.
Where the car was possessed and it could
Yep,
drive itself and shit like that.
yep.
So this is what CNN put up was that a car drove through a city Christmas parade, killing 6 people and injuring scores of others. Now, the car didn't drive itself anywhere. There was a person behind the steering wheel with his foot on the gas, driving over people. But oh my God, he was black. Oh, we can't disparage him in any way. But White Rittenhouse, who's a white cracker, uh, yeah, Yeah, we can knock him down all we want. He drove to the other same state, I think. Doesn't matter. Um, intentionally to kill people, and that's what drives me crazy. Is the narrative from the mainstream media, as I call it, that just
Can I say something real quick
absolutely.
in answer to old guy's question? It makes him secure in his manhood, and you have sympathy and feelings that some men don't have. It makes you just wonderful, sensitive, empathetic.
No, well, okay. I'm just seeing old cronies remark now. I got to scroll back up so I can digest it better. But I listen to Britney Spears, who is pretty hot, by the way. And my favorite cartoon characters are female, but I'm not kidding. No, it just means you're horny, man. If your favorite cartoon character is a female, that just makes you horny. That's all that means. I know all about that. An old prick like I am.
Ed gets freaking stimulated if the wind blows right on it.
Man, dude, who
Yeah.
was it said something? I'm like, dude, I've had a stiffy in 6 months, man. I'm dead. I might as well just die now.
Stiffy, I like that. You're funny. If your favorite cartoon was a guy, that would be worse. Yep. No, you're
Ah,
not
you're
gay.
right, Liz. If your favorite cartoon came with a guy, that would be worse.
He's not a
Exactly.
perv either. Well, that's questionable. If you're not a perv, I guess that's a matter of opinion. Who is this female cartoon, by the way?
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'd like to know that. What is your favorite cartoon character?
It's like the Powerpuff Girls or something. There's three of them.
I never watched them. I've heard of them, but I've never watched. I'm trying to think of what my favorite one
What? What?
was. I mean, how is that much different from movies you watched or whatever? Cameron Diaz,
No.
Angelina Jolie, whatever. That oh man, she's hot. Yeah, I can watch that movie again. Angela from Talking Tom and Friends. Talking Tom and Friends. That's funny, Marcel. Well, Marcel, Dorothy is the one that had to climb up the tree to get Rigger's drone out of the tree, you know. So maybe that makes him gay. I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't know he's gay yet. I don't know.
Oh, that was a Rigger, Mark. That's from Predator. Who was the big guy? Uh, it was on Predator with Sil. No, it wasn't Sylvester Stallone. Who was it? It was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he called himself. Oh, he was chewing tobacco too, and he spit on the one guy's boot. He said, "I'm a sexual tyrannosaurus or a horny lizard." Yeah, Jeff. Oh, you got a bit of metal in your ankle? Okay. So, all right. Well, wait a minute now. Well, we're just having fun, Paduga. I didn't think you liked politics. I identify. Okay, I'm gonna put it in chat.
I identify as a lesbian trapped in a man's body, just for the record. It's crazy. I still want women. I don't know what it is. As LGNFJB. Let me see. That's you, Ed? LGNFJB?
I spelled it wrong. It should be LGB. I just corrected myself. I mistyped. Um, so we're down to 4 people now. Everybody's failing. That's
He
okay.
left. We bored him to death.
I did. I did. I bored him to death.
Both of us, not just you.
And I like that old crony. Uh, I've been that way for a while, Marcel. Uh, I get that. I get that identification, and Rigger WKRP in Cincinnati is a very funny show. And I really had the hots for a while
Lonnie?
for the female on that show.
Wasn't that Lonnie Anderson?
No,
That wasn't? No?
no, I can't think of her name, but she's cute as a button. She reminds me of Dana Perina.
She was blonde, right?
Yes, she was.
Yeah, she took a lot of freaking makeup to look like that. Let me tell
Blonde.
you.
Well, that could be true. It doesn't matter. I don't know. I never woke up to her next in bed, so I wouldn't know.
I could just picture it now.
But
Yeeks. Anyway. All right. So America first. Keep the money here. Keep the immigrants out. What else? Let's
oh,
recap.
she might have been a brunette rigger. Now I think about it. No, Lonnie was Lonnie Anderson.
Thanks, Paduga.
Yeah, yeah, he is looking good. That's the best I've seen him in
Better than
forever.
ever. Better than ever. I agree. Ah, shit.
You need to upload some kind of funny ass.
You know, I was thinking about that before I started, but then I said, it's just going to take me longer to start, to join you. I figure let me join you and talk shit for a while.
Well, I'm glad you
matter.
came. I'm glad you came. We're down to 4 people now, so I guess I'm going to go ahead and end this stuff.
Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. Oh, and check out my PayPal link at the bottom.
Oh, God. I think you should make Ed do something for the money.
I look.
Fly a drone naked.
In there just because of you. You made me think it to do that.
Oh, that's a good idea. If you're willing to help Ed and he can use the help, send him money. I ain't giving him shit, just for the record.
That's okay. That's okay. No, that's okay. I'm good with that, brother. So, it's been a blast. Thank you all for being here. I've been here over 2 hours.
That's right.
And I appreciate those that have been here and have hung out for as long as they have.
Okay, wait a minute. Before you leave, there's only 4 of them, and maybe they can spread it around. Is anybody willing to spend, I don't know, 40, 50 bucks to watch Ed fly in a Speedo?
Nah.
No? Anybody want to put up 50 bucks? Ed in a Speedo, flying a drone, 1 pack, 1 battery, 3 minutes, gapping his legs.
I have to buy a banana.
Oh gosh, just take sock and tape it in. You'll be all right. I'll pay that much. There you go. He'll pay that much not to see it.
Well,
that's a good
if
answer.
anybody saw that, they want to wipe that from their memory, I'm sure.
Rigor mortis says if he can use it in his intro, then for sure he'll pay.
No, I would never use that in my intro. Never, ever, ever. So again, Carlos.
Wait a minute, real quick. Does old guy know that you already did this once, and that's why we came up with the idea? Does he know you that long?
I don't know when I met Old Crony's Garage. I just know that I have him and I recognize his name.
Okay, because old guy, just so you know, he has done it already. You go back in his videos. What would I do for a tiny hawk too? Right?
Yes, that's the name of it.
Oh yeah. I don't want to see it. Yeah, there's a few people that have been scarred.
Scarred for life.
But it was funny as hell. I don't care what anybody says. That was funny right there. All right, Ed, you're gonna say goodbye. I'm gonna say goodbye. Thanks for everybody joining our nonsense streams.
Well, it wasn't all nonsense.
All right, my part at least.
No,
I'm referring to me.
It wasn't all nonsense either. You had a lot of important things to say. So I appreciate everybody that's been here.
We'll do it again soon.
That sounds like a plan.
If there's something to talk about, right? Why not?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just current affairs, whatever. And it was good to vent a little bit. So see y'all, and I'm gonna hit the button, Harry. I'm hitting the button, Harry.